All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today for our very first exclusive AMA with a very special project, Mind Music, and a very amazing developer, Mark, who we have here with us, who's going to kind of dive into the project a little bit. Hi, Mark, how are you today?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Great. So Mind Music, just to kind of give a brief overview, 3 new farms just touched at the Gold Farm. And for those who don't know, we're a farming as a service protocol. We allow others to come to our platform and host their farm. And we kind of work on the cross marketing aspect of it, where we're looking to kind of gain interaction from multiple communities. Biggest one, obviously, being the FEG community. And then also part of our 31 additional active partners that we have going on. So with that, Mind Music, they did 3 farms. First farm I'll talk about was a Mind Music to Mind Music farm, which means you could stake your Mind Music and you're earning more on the back end just for simply holding it at the Gold Farm. The very next day, Mark released a second farm, which was allowing you to stake your Mind Music token again, and this time earn gold, which is our native token here at the Gold Farm, that will allow you access into multiple various different rewards that you can earn. And then the third and final farm that just actually went up today was gold to earn Mind Music. So kind of an intense passive loop of income that you've allowed your holders to have, Mark, as well as for our people to kind of dive in. In theory, kind of starting it off here, people could take their Mind, use those rewards, and dive into any of the 2 additional farms you've made. So very valuable. So thank you for that.
Yeah, they can go from mind into gold, they can just take their mind and then farm gold and then put the gold and make more mind, so they can just keep going round and round in circles. Yeah.
That's perfect. That's the kind of the nature of yield farming and DeFi as a whole. So you guys are the real deal over there. You looking at the website, you're clearly doxed. There's a roadmap, white paper. You guys got videos up, you got media, you got content. I personally ordered a Mind Music hat in black. Love the snapback. So I just ordered that today. A lot of cool stuff going on. I'm going to allow you to dive in, Mark. Can you please just kind of really briefly describe your project and what it brings to the table that's unique in this space?
Okay, well, Mind Music is essentially the world's first record label to be powered by crypto. What we're doing is the tokenomics of our coin, which I'll go into in a bit more detail shortly, basically take a tax from people on their buy and sell transactions, and we use that tax to develop music and artists, and then eventually we sell that music in form of vinyl or CDs or streaming, and the profits from selling that music are then divided between mental health and suicide prevention charities, and also used to benefit the holders of Mind Music coin. How do we do that? Well, the profits from the record sales are split 80-20. So 80% goes to suicide prevention and mental health charities, and the remaining 20% is used to buy and burn Mind Music coin. Now, we have quite a unique burn mechanism on our coin. So like most coins tend to just send tokens to a burn address to remove them from circulation, we actually obliterate them from the supply. So if we were burning 20 trillion tokens, you would see that completely disappear from the supply. And that actually comes off the initial liquidity pairing as well. So what that means is that the individual price of the token actually increases every time we burn. It actually has a direct effect rather than a sort of pretend effect. Because I mean, when people send tokens to a burn address, it does actually remove them from supply, but it's not actually directly definitely increasing the price of the token. It's kind of a, people think, oh, that it's no more scarce now, so the coins are worth more. So it's kind of a hypothetical thing rather than a real thing, whereas our burn makes it real. So it's not just the profits from the records, we're actually selling merchandise as well. We're going to be organizing concerts next year, and all of the profits from everything that Mind Music does, whether that is gigs, selling records, CDs, streaming music, all of those profits are all split in that same 80-20 format. So by owning Mind Music token, you're actually going to benefit from 20% of the entire profits that the company generates from all of its activities.
That is absolutely incredible and an absolutely amazing rundown of everything that you guys have going on, and kind of a foundation there. Before I dive into the tokenomics, because obviously I want you to explain that a little bit, I was really curious, is there, what kind of sparked your journey into this space of crypto? Because obviously mental health is such a amazing thing to be supporting in general, but was there something that kind of touched you personally, or was it, just kind of a
Yeah. So,
pause?
yeah, I mean, I'll just take you back briefly. So back in 2013, 2014, I did dabble with crypto a bit. So crypto's always been kind of in the back of my head, and I've always been interested in the technology. So that was kind of there back then. Also, going back before that, I used to be a professional musician. So I used to do a lot of gigs and things with bands, cover bands and things mainly, but just do a lot of gigs, and it was part of my income. So I used to do that sort of pretty much full time. Moving forward, that was going back 15, 20 years ago. So we're now going forward. I sort of left the bands and everything and ended up running a different business. I ran a small independent record label. I ran a business that organized niche music festivals, and also ran a wedding business that basically provided all the entertainment and food and catering and mobile bars and things for weddings. Obviously, coronavirus. I worked really, really hard on setting up these businesses, whilst I must say also doing a full-time degree in the music event management. And coronavirus shut everything down. I got no help from the government, sank into a deep, deep depression. And for me, it was pretty much the end of everything. I didn't, even with my kids and everything, I just didn't feel like going on anymore. And what saved me was this project. I picked up my guitar again for the first time in a long time, and I started playing, and it pulled me out from a very, very, very dark place. And the first song that I did was a cover of Linkin Park, One More Light. I released it. I explained my story and the fact it's pulled me out of this hole, and it got a bit of traction. Actually went a bit viral. I got something like over 1 million streams, I think, on Spotify, and tens of thousands of views on the YouTube video. And I thought, well, people relate to this, and they're relating to my story. So one song became many songs. We released 13 tracks. We've had multiple millions of streams on Spotify now, and then that's kind of how the project was born. That was going back in 2020. So it started off with just the music. I ended up partnering with UK mental health charity Mind, and they sort of came on board, and we got some radio play, and it was all kind of. And then the connection to cryptocurrency. I thought, well, I'd like to do this in a bigger scale. I'd like to be able to get the message out. I think using music for mental health awareness is, and the concept. So every single song as well, I should say, that I did initially in the initial project was a cover of a song that was written by someone that committed suicide. So it was kind of a reflection process. So while you're listening to the music, you can think about the pain that people were going through, and the fact that those people are no longer with us, and it kind of makes you reflect on mental health to raise awareness for mental health. But I wanted to do something on a bigger scale, and obviously, to do something in the music industry on a bigger scale is an immense amount of money. I thought, well, how can I raise this money? And that's when I came up with Mind Music and the idea and the tokenomics behind it. And yeah, we really are just getting started. We've just got back from being in the recording studio 10 days. We just finished like the first album. We've got a single coming out. We've got legendary record producer Chenzo Townsend's going to be mixing our first single, which should be dropping towards the end of this month. Next month. November. I keep thinking we're in November. And the album's going to be out in time for Christmas, and the record label's going online in a few weeks. And we've got an NFT collection dropping soon. I mean, and the third and final piece of the project is also coming out later as well, which I can't really talk about too much at the moment. But there's a lot of exciting things happening. We've got some quite well-known, famous musicians that are going to be an ambassador for the project. When I say ambassador, they're going to be sending out a tweet, basically, about how they support us. But these are people with millions of followers, and how they like what we're doing here. So there's a lot of things coming. It's such an early stage for Mind Music. We're sat there under 1 million market cap with about 4,000 holders at the moment. Within 6 months, I think we're going to be a minimum of 40,000 holders, and we're going to be many, many times where we are now. So there's a lot of big plans, and there's a lot of things to come, and most of it's actually going to really start kicking in this year. So there's tons going on, basically.
That's an extremely powerful message that you've given. Personally wearing many hats in the different industries and then kind of having it all taken away from you, I think that'll speak to so many out there who hear this, in these upcoming weeks, and kind of get a chance to jump into the farm and see what you guys are all about. And hopefully they'll go and purchase their own bag of Mind Music, of course. But I mean, your story is very touching. I can't wait to listen to some of your music. We're definitely going to pin that video or your stream of Linkin Park, your cover. I'm going to dig that up and get that out there.
Yeah, if you go on the homepage of mindmusic.finance, it's actually If you scroll down, it says "What is my music coin?" Linkin Park, One More Light. The cover's there. That
Wow.
actually went viral in Slovenia because I used some for the music video. I used some empty street footage of Slovenia. It made all the national news over there and ended up on the news. And I did some various radio interviews, and it kind of went a bit nuts over there. They seemed to like it, and it got radio play for several weeks and stuff out there. So that's how that song kind of took off. But yeah, that was the beginning of it all. And
Very
the
cool.
lyrics of the song were just perfect at the time, with all these people that were dying with coronavirus, and no one really, it was right at the time when no one knew what the hell was going on. Do you know what I mean? Right at the beginning of the whole pandemic. And I just didn't understand why everything that I'd worked so hard for was just being ripped away from me, and no one was helping me. And I was like, I don't understand. I've worked for years to build these businesses. I had 60 staff working for me, and I paid all their wages right up until I couldn't pay them anymore, right up until I ended up essentially going bankrupt. So yeah, I just didn't understand what was happening, and it sent me to a really dark place. But thankfully, I'm all through that now, and I want to do what I can to help others. I mean, this project saved me, and if I can save just one other person, then to me it's all worth it. So that's why I do it. That's my motivation. To me, this isn't the crypto project. This is a life project. This is something that I intend to be working on for the rest of my natural life. It's when you invest in my music, it's not you're not investing in a crypto project that might make you 10x in a few weeks, or a project that's not going to make. This is something that I'm passionate about. It's something I believe in. It's something that I'm always going to be working on till the day I die. I want to change the world with music. I want to raise awareness for mental health. I've got big plans, and it's something that I'm never going to stop on. I'm just going to constantly just keep pushing and pushing it because it means so much to me, and I owe it my life. So that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's going to dive into a project, it's going to be under somebody with as much passion as you're displaying. And yeah, I'm just so thankful that you're a grinder. As a small business owner myself, I can feel that type of pain. Of having the coronavirus affect what it affected and how it affected so many lifestyles. So way to power through it. And thank you. I'm sure your family thanks you, your friends thank you, and all this whole crypto world is going to thank you here in the near future. What I'd like to touch on, though, you did mention, if I look at the roadmap, it's mentioning that, album is being recorded and near releasing, and you kind of give some metrics of what it costs to release a recorded album, or to, at least to record one. Can you give an outline of, are you guys already funded for the releasing of the album coming up for Christmas?
Yes. I mean, I have funded a bit of it myself at the moment. Obviously, the coin's starting to gain traction, so a lot of those funds are kind of being recouped and stuff as we did. So, I mean, to give you an idea, just the recording time alone for the tracks that we've recorded cost nearly £15,000. So it's not cheap to get it done and record it, but I mean, everything that I do is of really, really, really high quality, and I think that's really important. The studio that we recorded it at was actually Chenzo Townsend Studios. And because we recorded it at that studios, he heard what we were doing and he liked the project, and now he's mixing one of our singles. So, and for those of you that don't know, Chenzo Townsend is the guy that produced and mixed the Rolling Stones, U2, Snow Patrol, Kaiser Chiefs. I mean, these are the type of people that he works with. So in the sort of mixing world of the music business, he's a legend. And yeah, all of those people, and now Mark Hamilton's single, which is going to be coming out. I have actually shared a little rough monitor mix of that single in the Mind Music community. If anyone goes over there, clicks through the pinned messages, you will find it. You can have a listen. It's only a rough mix. It's not mastered or mixed properly, but you can listen to what the single's going to be. When he gets his hands on that and mixes that, it's going to get us some serious radio play. I mean, it is actually, I mean, he thinks it's got chart potential, and this is coming from a guy that's had many, 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 many hits around the world. So he thinks it's got chart potential. Who knows? I mean, if we get one song to chart anywhere in the world, it's going to completely change the face of my music. So I'm just one artist, though. The record label's going online in a few weeks. We are going to open the A&R side of the business. We are going to be taking submissions from other musicians, and we do want to give as many people as possible the chance to record music professionally and release it in the name of helping mental health. So I'm just the first person that's releasing something because it's my project, and I've got some half of it done, and I'm just trying to get it out there just to get the project started. But this project is so much more bigger than me and my music. So yeah, I mean, we just have to wait and see what happens.
Mark, thank you so much. I was you pretty much hit every extra question I had just kind of through your elaboration on your answers here. I won't even dive back into the tokenomics of it. I would just, encourage our listeners to go to your website and check out the white paper. The tokenomics has its own full page on there and explains it in quite detail if you're curious of how the breakdown goes on the tax. I did want to real quickly, open up the floor here. I do see we've actually gained a few listeners. Just want to see if anybody has any questions for you real quick that you maybe didn't address. But I think you gave an amazing overview, and the message is very powerful here. So thanks again, Mark.
No worries.
Anybody out there in the audience have any questions for Mark, the developer and owner of Mind Music?
I will say just one thing as well. There is one more part to this project that's going to be being released in December. I can't talk about it too much now, but it's really, really exciting, and it's going to tie everything that I'm doing together in a big, massive way. So for those of you that are interested in looking out for new things happening and new tokens and new coins, go over to Mind Music and follow us, because there is one more part to this project that ties it all together, and that project's going to moon Mind Music and everything connected with it. So, and we've got some big ambassadors that are going to be making noise about us towards the end of this year once the album's released as well. So I can't really know what else I can say about this. Some stuff I can't say, unfortunately, at the moment, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that I just can't talk about right now until it happens. But yeah, it's worth going over and checking us out and following us and keeping an eye on what we've got upcoming, because there's a few big cats going to be released out the bag, so to speak, at some point soon.
All right. That's a lot of valuable information that we got today. Appreciate you sharing and stopping over to our channel. These farms are going to be going live. They're already live. They're going to be going on now for the next 90 days or so. So they're going to be going well into the new year. So we're going to watch all these changes unfold. And then, Mark, I would like to invite you back maybe after, a month or a month and a half, once some developments start rolling around, just to kind of touch on some updates.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably be setting up some of the farms and stuff as well. I noticed that because the amount of tokens that have been staked on some of the farms, that it's not necessarily generating, a lot of reward on them. So I'd like to be the top of the rewards, or maybe start different farms. It's kind of a learning curve with us. First time we've done any farming as well. So we are going to be doing some more farms with Gold Farm guys, as time goes on as well. So keep an eye on that. We're going to be monitoring it. It's a new thing for us to see kind of the rewards people are getting. So we're going to be monitoring them and increasing the rewards and doing different things as well. So.
And Mark, I just want you to know, on a weekly basis, I do drop the individual farming stats into your community Telegram, but I'll drop them to you individually as well, so you can analyze them, just to kind of give you a breakdown of what the performances are. So you don't have to, dial it all the way in, of course, if you want to, but we will get you that as well. I do see somebody who might have a question.
Yeah,
Mr. Rex.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah. Yep. How's the distribution of the music gonna work?
Distribution. So we're, without revealing too much, there's going to be physical vinyl and CDs for the first album, but they're also going to be distributed via all the streaming platforms, so like Apple iTunes, Spotify, etc., which is going to be promoted through international radio play. So mainly streaming platforms is going to be where most of the streaming comes from, and the revenue and the downloads. But we are releasing, for example, on the first one, there's a limited edition, very limited edition, 500 vinyl copies. That limited edition vinyl copies come with exclusive one-off NFTs as well, which ties into our NFT launch. That's all going to be happening in around about 3 weeks from now, roughly average. Don't hold me on that. It depends how long it takes to complete. So we're going to be launching the vinyl, where you can purchase the vinyl and you can get free NFTs, or I can't reveal exactly how it's going to work, but yeah, they're connected to the NFT. So that's an exclusive one-off deal for everyone. That's how you got to be holding my music to get that as well. And then, but mainly it's mainly going to be digital nowadays. Everything's digital: Spotify, Apple iTunes, etc.
I still love my vinyl.
Everyone loves vinyl now. It's growing. I mean, it's the problem is there's a big problem with vinyl at the moment, in that it's become so popular again that a lot of the factories closed down. We had a big factory in America burned down last year, I believe it was, and there's a massive wait on vinyl. So it's like 6-7 months. So what we do with the vinyl, you'll order the vinyl, but you'll get a CD free, which is posted out straight away, and you can also get your NFT straight away. And then the vinyl, you're going to have to wait for about 6-7 months till it gets printed and sent out, because there's a huge delay on vinyl at the moment, and it's worldwide. All the vinyl factories are just stacked up because everybody wants to do vinyl, and there's only a few factories around the world that are doing it. So hopefully some more factories come online next year, and the whole thing starts speeding up, because vinyl is coming back with a vengeance for sure.
We have a couple of small vinyl presses here in New Zealand that have been doing quite a good trade.
Oh,
You
yeah, brilliant.
may be able to find some space there.
Yeah, well, if anyone can deliver anything to me in less than 5 months, I'm interested. So I'll have a look at that. I didn't think about looking that far. I'd need to obviously take into account all the import duties and things like that as well, and delivery times and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'll look into anything. I mean, at the moment, I'm looking at a place in Poland, which is probably about 4 or 5 months as opposed to 7-8 months, which is what a lot of the major ones are taking. So yeah, I mean, we get that sorted. But it's going to be an exclusive vinyl anyway. It's a one-off.
Great
Yeah,
question.
I logged on late. What kind of music are you putting out on the first album?
It's very much going to be along the lines of the stuff that I've already released. So if you go onto the mindmusic.finance website and click videos, you can click through and watch a lot of the music videos for about 13 tracks that I did before we actually started the Mind Music crypto project. If you want to listen to the new stuff, I have actually released a sneak preview of the single that's going to be released. If you click on the Mind Music Telegram and you click through the pin messages, about 3 or 4 messages in, you'll find a link to an unmastered rough mix of a song that I just recorded a couple of weeks ago, which is going to be the single, which has been mixed by Chenzo Townsend. So that, if you listen to that, that will give you the best idea of what the new stuff's going to be like. It's very much new versions of old songs.
Thank you.
No worries. Does anyone else have any questions?
Mark, you are phenomenal at these AMAs. That was a heck of a rundown. Really appreciate your time and your energy and your passion for what you do here. I can't wait to check it out, dive in further, and get some of this music rolling. I'm sure we've got some interest already from this small group, but I'm going to do my absolute best to make sure I get this AMA out to our wide community.
Excellent. Thank you.
No problem.
If no one's got any more questions, then I'm probably going to shoot off, guys. I've got a couple. For anyone that's listening who wants to hear a bit more about my music, I have got an AMA tomorrow over at the My Music Telegram channel, where I'm going to be going into a lot more detail with different things. That's actually at about an hour before this one tomorrow, if that makes, before this one started. So an hour and a half ago tomorrow, if that makes sense. So that's over at My Music. Come and join us tomorrow if you've got any more questions or you want to hear a bit more about the project.
Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And I'll be over there tomorrow listening for sure. So yeah, just thanks for your time again. Hope you have a great rest of your day and keep up the hard work. I know that you will.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, guys. Yep. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers. All right, guys, with that, I will go ahead and probably close down the chat here. That was a little bit longer than I expected it to be. So very generous developer over there at Mind Music. A lot of rewards in these farms. Please check them out. Thank you for your support. And I will see you guys at the next AMA. Adios.
See you later.